still have more information concerning what I just told you. I had to go a little fast because my time was running short. But if you didn't catch it, it's Job chapter 38, 31 through 32. Now let's look at this again, and then let's remember that we already know that there are aliens that are calling themselves by these names, and these names are the names of constellations. The reason why they call themselves names of the constellations is because that is where their planet home worlds hail from. Now that is a big clue mystery that I cannot explain to you in this short time, but I have been attempting to through my whole video series from the beginning of my YouTube career till now to explain that. So watch my videos. So, canst thou bind the sweet influences of the Pleiades? Now when it says sweet influences, that takes us out of the realm of mere physics and mathematics and basically cosmic interactions that would have something to do with the laws of physics that would govern a constellation. Now we enter into the realm of personality. Personalities can only discern when something is sweet. So it says, canst thou bind the sweet influences, which is basically stating that these influences are of a sweet nature, okay, which is denoting personality. We're dealing with the influences of personality, of personal beings, which are these Pleiadians. And the question is being asked, canst thou bind? Now remember I told you about the sacred geometry and about the seals. Here's one popular seal that you're familiar with, and this would be, as I told you, that Star of David. Well, that's also known as circumscribed tetrahedral geometry. If you want to know about sacred geometry, check that out. Circumscribed tetrahedral geometry, and you'll begin to understand something about these seals. Now, let's go a little further here. It says, or loose the bands of Aryan. The question is being asked simultaneously, who can bind these beings, or who can loose this binding, being interpreted as bands at this point. So we know in the biblical narrative that these beings have been shut up in the inner earth. We know in the alien narrative, in the native myth, legend, and lore, they say that they went into the earth because the earth was overrun by mongrels. In any case, both of these beings are in the inner earth. Now the question is being asked, who can bind them there? And now the important question, who can loose these bindings? Now this is going to go back to the sacred geometry. It's a whole nother can of worms. I don't have the time to go into it, but just know that you have already been given many clues in all of these horror and occult films that deal with these pentagrams and these seances and these geometrical symbols. The Star of David is also known as the Solomon Seal. Well, King Solomon, amongst being one of the wisest men on earth, he was also known for something else. He was also known to be able to control demons and to be able to call and materialize angels. Now notice that this seal is also called Solomon's seal. Notice that a seal can be that which is binding, or bonds, which would be loosing these bands. So the seal is also could be related to Revelation, where it is talking about loosing the 7 seals. Very important, very important. So we get down here and it says, canst thou bring forth Meseroth in his season? Well, these are all constellation names, and it gives us one more clue that we're dealing with more than just a constellation, because when it gets to Arcturus, it talks about his sons. And there's where we get personal once again. So this is basically, within these few small passages, we are talking about these beings that have supposedly sweetly influenced, which will be that knowledge of both heaven and the knowledge of both good and evil, and that they have been needed to be bound, and that they're also in question of who's going to be able to loose them at the appropriate time. And talking about, canst thou bring forth? We know they always talk about bringing forth these demons from the other side.